Hey guys, it's Will and I hope you're having a great day. You have to forgive me for being a little out of breath. I've been out here at the agroforestry farm today trying to turn little brush piles into big brush piles, and I'm not as young as I used to be. You know guys, it never fails that when I make a video about farming, I'll have a big corporate farmer come on here and make a comment about either me being a hobby farmer or not owning enough acres to call myself a farmer. And I remember when I posted my first farming video, that video I posted about a pond that was leaking, he showed his true stripes. I had a big corporate rancher from Florida come on here, and first thing he said is, "You're a big dummy, your pond's leaking because of all the trees on the bank." I pointed out to him that there were no trees on the bank. And then he pointed out to me that I didn't own enough land to be called a farmer. And I'm not sure how he knew how much land I had. I don't think he did. But he was just trying to get the point across that he was a big shot. And I did a little bit of digging, and I was going to post his comment on this video, but then I thought, no, I don't want anybody to go make comments on his page or do anything like that. So I chose not to do it. But I did a little research, and all of you that grew up in a rural area will know what I mean by this. He was one of these typical guys that was born on third base and thought he hit a triple. He sent me a few more nasty messages, and again, sometimes my sarcasm gets the best of me. He made a comment, and I pointed out that he should come talk to me when he had more videos than just one of somebody else branding his cattle for him. And he pointed out to me that he was too much of a big shot to brand his own cattle. His lowly cowboys did that for him. He's one of these guys that likes to round up his cattle with a helicopter. I'll just put it that way. But it really got me to thinking, and I've been chewing on this because every time I post a farming video, big corporate farmers come on and make this comment. Guys, anybody that farms the land is a farmer. I don't care if they're red, yellow, black and white, male, female, LGBTQ, it doesn't matter. If you farm the land, you're a farmer. And I don't care if you farm 5 acres or you farm 5,000 acres. If you're producing off of the land, you're considered a producer, and in my mind, you're considered a farmer and a rancher. You know, there was a time in this country where we didn't look down on small farmers, small family farms. Take a look at this chart I've got pulled up here. Our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and our great-great-grandparents, they were all small farmers. They made a good living off of 20, 40, and 60-acre farms. Hell, there was a time in this country that lasted for decades and decades when a 100-acre farm was a giant farm. So I'm certainly not going to look back on my ancestors, on my grandparents and great-grandparents and third great-grandparents and say they weren't real farmers because they only farmed 40 acres or 50 acres or 100 acres. Look what's happened to the average size of the family farm over time. We've gone from an average family farm in 1964 of 100 acres, and we've climbed up to almost 500 acres at this point. There are a lot of reasons driving that. But one of the biggest reasons is the corporatization of family farms. I wanted to make the point, guys, that we all in the farming and ranching community need to view each other as family because there are some exciting things happening. And if we'll just grab a hold of these changes and help foster these changes, it will be good for farming and ranching in the end. Take a look here. We've had an increase in the number of farmers under the age of 35 who have decided to go into farming. And for those of you that have been in farming and ranching for any time at all, you know we've been begging for this to happen for decades. Family farms and the owners of family farms and family ranches have been aging and getting older and older and older. And you can see here that we're still seeing a drop in the number of farmers and ranchers between the ages of 35 and 64. And we're seeing a big increase in the number of farmers and ranchers over the age of 65. But we've got something to cling on to here. Even though it's a smaller number, it's an improvement. And we're starting to see younger family farmers and family ranchers come into the industry. And they're coming in with a smaller amount of acreage, and they're making it work. Guys, every day I talk to farmers and ranchers that are using new methods of agriculture and ranching that are making $100,000, $200,000, sometimes even $400,000 off of 20 and 40 and 50 acre farming operations, where every single inch of ground on that farm is utilized for fruit crops and nut crops and livestock and specialized beef production and greenhouses for raising lettuce and fruits and vegetables that our cities need year-round. There are exciting things happening if we will band together and recognize each other as being all in the same boat. We can bring about serious change in our industry. And look at the diversity that's coming into agriculture. We have farms that are owned by Hispanics. We have farms that are owned by American Indians, by Asians, by African Americans, by Native Hawaiians. The diversity level is climbing on our farms and ranches with smaller farmers that are coming into the industry now. It's not happening with century farms and with big corporate farms. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a century farm. I'm just telling you the recognition that the change we've been waiting for is happening at the small farmer and young farmer and rancher level is undeniable. We've had a 7% increase since the 2017 census in farmers under the age of 44, with the largest jump being among the youngest producers, those under 25 years of age. And this number makes me so happy I could run across a busy road naked. We've got over 1 million farmers out of 3.4 million producers in 2022 that had farmed for less than 10 years. And it applies to the amount of money that we're making on our small farms. The greatest number of farms are those that produce less than $2,500 a year annually. And look at the chart. Small farms still make up the majority of farms and ranches in this country. So guys, I'm just saying it's time to stop. We've got some big challenges facing us in farming and ranching. And we don't need to be throwing arrows at each other based on the size of our farms and how much we produce. We are all farmers and ranchers. Every one of us matter. And we're going to have to cooperate with each other if we want to take on these challenges in the future. We've got big corporations coming in to buy up family farms where we're all going to become their farmhands and their serfs working on their giant properties. We've got political organizations like ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, that are coming in to write bills across the country under the label of the right to farm, where they're guaranteeing big CAFO organizations and foreign governments the right to buy and own land, farmland in our country. We've got giant corporate farms that are poisoning the water in this country. The same water that we give to the animals that keep us in business and the kids and family members that live on our farms. So it's time to knock it off. It's time to stop drawing lines and categorizing farmers and ranchers. And it's time for us to work together. Every one of us count. And when it comes time to take on these big special interests, do you want to do it alone? Do you want to do it with the 4 or 5 other farmers in your county that own 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres? Or do you want to do it with thousands of men and women of all different races and creeds and sexual preference standing at your back, fighting those fights with you? I know what I want to do. What about you? Everybody have a great day.